Welcome to this video where I'm going to be talking about my thumbnail system. Now, I don't consider myself a thumbnail or graphical expert. However, I have learned a lot of things which I feel like can be applied to pretty much anyone. And basically, one of my peers, Words at Scale, from my other YouTube channel, Income Stream Surfer, they emailed me a couple of days ago asking for some tips because they felt like their traffic was dropping on their YouTube channel. And I gave them some tips. And as a favor in return, he sent me back basically what I told him, but as a 7-step system. So in this 7-step system, I'm going to show you exactly what I do to increase my click-through rate on my main channel. Now, the first thing is actually a bit of a weird one because it's not thumbnails. And this is something that people do not know. Okay, I feel like this is not talked about enough, and people focus so much on thumbnails. But I have personally noticed that a title can be as impactful, if not more impactful, than a thumbnail. Now, I'm not going to be showing data or showing proof or anything like that in this video. You can believe me or you can not believe me. I don't really care. But one of my videos, which now has 950,000 views, when I first released it, it had the same thumbnail, but it had a different title. The title was much longer than 55 to 60 characters. It was something like 85 characters, and I was going for the SEO instead of the browse features traffic. What I did, on the advice of my friends, was I changed the title, and it went from being a 6 out of 10 to being a 1 out of 10 and basically going viral. I would say 1 million views is viral in my opinion. It's definitely viral for me. And that was because of a title. The thumbnail did not change. It was all about the title, okay? So the first thing is people don't realize just how impactful titles actually are. So many people are so focused on thumbnails, they don't understand that changing the title can actually increase click-through rate more than changing the thumbnail. What I personally do is if I see that a video is not performing that well, the first thing I do is try and change the title. And then if the title change doesn't really do anything, that is when I will start working on the thumbnail. Now, the second part of this, and personally what I think is the most important, is text size and readability. What a lot of people do is they put a lot of words on their thumbnail and they don't make the words big enough. Personally, what I do is I put as few words as possible, maximum 6 words, and I try and make the text as large as possible, normally sitting around 300 pixels, but if I'm doing 6 words, I'll probably do something like 200 pixels, maybe even 180 pixels, but I will very rarely go less than 180 pixels. Now, the reason for that is because it's one of the first things people see, it's one of the first things their eyes are attracted to, and not only that, but you've probably heard Mr. Beast talk about this, who knows this kind of stuff way better than me. But on the suggested videos on the side of a video, especially on mobile, the font is incredibly small on the thumbnail, okay? So if you're using like something below 100 pixels, it's going to be so hard for people to actually read what is on the screen. So personally, what I do is I probably do this a bit overkill, but I try and limit the text of the thumbnail, and I try and use as large letters as possible. Another thing I also do quite a lot, you've probably seen this if you're a fan of my channel, is I try and grab attention with emotive words, okay? So, wow, crazy, can't believe it, oh my god, this is insane, etc., etc., okay? It's kind of cringe, it works, okay? So a lot of YouTube is kind of cringe, but at the end of the day, what works, works. Okay, so this one is very specific to the niche that me and Words at Scale and Julian Goldie and Jesse Cunningham and, all those kind of people, we're in a very specific niche, but you can apply this to your niche very, very easily. So what we currently do is we use fake ChatGPT conversations, but you can apply this to your niche. So what I recommend you do is you find someone in your niche that has a lot of views, and I'm talking like 10 times your views, 100 times your views, and try and study what they are doing well. But don't just copy them, okay? So some people have copied me. I personally don't mind, but if too many people copy each other, the niche is going to be screwed, okay? So generally speaking, what you want to do is you want to adopt a similar style to what's working, but ensure that you have a unique twist to stand out, okay? Now, Words at Scale did this incredibly well. And by the way, he told me recently that he went from a 6% click-through rate to something like an 11% click-through rate, even starting as high as 16% on a new video. Now, for him, that's very, very good. For me, 16% would be very, very good as well. We are not Mr. Beast, okay? We are not these huge YouTubers. What we're trying to do is bring people into our small channels to try and get attention in a very large marketplace. So I've done the same thing on this channel. I've copied a few people who know exactly what they're doing, and I've applied their style. Sorry, I've applied their style, but with my unique standpoint, my unique twist. You can see that on this channel right here. My channel, Income Stream Surfer, I actually came up with the idea for using the fake ChatGPT thing. It worked really, really well. I've used it to get a video up to 200,000 views now, which is super, super cool. Very, very happy with that result. Another thing that I don't know if this is mentioned later on, so I'll just mention this just in case it's not. One thing that works really, really well is including something real from the video, whether that be a Google Search Console chart or, you know, a keyword or whatever it might be. I think that's mentioned later on, so I won't talk too much about that. But yeah, I always try and include something real that's from the video. Now, this is one that probably annoys a lot of my viewers, but I'm telling you right now, as soon as I add an emoji to a thumbnail, it just increases in click-through rate. So you can't really blame me for doing it. Now, one that works really well is the Cash Money eyes one, or the shocked face one, or the one, the wow face one. Basically, emojis work very, very well, both in thumbnails and also they work really well in titles as well. I have not been using them in titles very often recently, and my views have been down. I'm not saying that's directly correlated, but it could be. The ones that I find that work really well are the same ones, but also the fire emoji works very, very well in titles and also in thumbnails, actually. My best recent video, which is 20,000 views, has a fire emoji in the thumbnail. Now, this is one that I personally learned very, very early on. Again, this was one of my most viral videos when I learned this. Branding and color, but not my branding and color. I always try to incorporate the colors and logos of the tools or products being discussed in the video. Now, how can you make this relevant to any niche? Okay, I've talked many times on this channel that we're currently on, Tube Launchpad, I forgot the name then. Basically, yeah, about making a Shopify instructional YouTube channel. Okay, so how would you do that? On the thumbnail, you always have the green. Let's just do this instead. You always have the green of Shopify somewhere on the logo, on the thumbnail, maybe the Shopify logo as well. Sometimes I don't even use my face, and actually, I think except the video that got 900,000 views, all of my well-performing videos don't have my face on, but they do have the ChatGPT logo, and they also have the ChatGPT color. Now, if people are looking for something about ChatGPT and they see that color, they're more likely to click. By the way, if you're interested in starting your own YouTube channel and you do not have a niche yet, then I really highly recommend watching this video right here, which will tell you exactly how to choose a very profitable niche. This video right here, make money while you sleep. I'm already getting ads. That's very, very good. Make money while you sleep, the evergreen YouTube formula. By the way, this doesn't mean I'm monetized. It just means that YouTube will probably accept me onto monetization pretty much instantly. This video right here, I'll leave it in the description. This will give you everything you need to know in order to pick a niche and how to record videos, etc., etc. So one thing I always do, like I said, branding, coloring, always include their logo, always include the colors. This helps instant recognition and association. So the next one is the thing that I kind of touched on briefly before, but I'm going to go into more detail now. Incorporate data visuals. If relevant, include graphs showcasing, for example, organic growth using tools like Ahrefs or Search Console. This is more relevant to my niche. However, what you can also do is a really, really good one that works very, very well, and it is kind of clickbaity unless something's not clickbait if it's real. That's how I look at it. But something that's very, very common to do is to have something like earnings 50,000, for example, okay? Now, I personally don't like doing this. I've only done this once where I've kind of just made up a number and the video didn't even do that well. I felt bad about it afterwards and I don't plan on doing it again. However, one of my videos, which was the 200,000 video, has a blurred out image of our real Shopify earnings, okay? It's blurred because it's not public information. I cannot share that information. It's not my business. I do not plan on sharing the information. But it's a real photo of our real earnings and it's a real earnings graph, okay? So it's like this, the graph, you can see it. It has a really, really nice curve to it, but everything's blurred out, okay? So you can't actually see it, but you can see that it is a Shopify earnings, and that is something that works very, very well. Now, what we personally do, like me and Julian, we do this quite a lot, is we take a photo from Ahrefs or Search Console. You can apply this to any niche, you just have to get creative with it, and this should come up when you're doing step 3, which is the step of looking at competition and finding a style. If you see that people are doing the same thing over and over, a really common thing with channels in the niche of like the YouTube niche, so YouTube channel about making YouTube channels, is to have like a graph that's just looks like this. This is super, super common. This kind of video right now is popping off. I am not good enough at Photoshop to make it. But yeah, you get the idea. Incorporate data visuals that are relevant to the niche. The final piece of advice that I gave Words at Scale was content focus, okay? It's very, very, very tempting. Not for me personally, but I understand why everyone is tempted to do this. It's very tempting to focus on paid tools that have affiliate links, okay? For obvious reasons. Well, there's 2 reasons. Number 1, paid tools, they can get a percentage from affiliate links. Number 2 is they are often good tools, so I can see why people talk about them, okay? But generally speaking, people don't want to just be thrown paid tool after paid tool. And there's quite a lot of negative thought and negative bias, and this will kill YouTube channels if you focus too much on paid tools. Everybody likes free things, okay? That is a well-known fact. So if you can, this is something that I didn't actually mention to Words at Scale. Another thing that I do a lot is I use the word free on my thumbnails, or I use the word free in my title, and I purposefully try and make everything in the video completely free. So for example, I talk about this keyword tool right here, and we can go on YouTube. Okay, let's say that I'm looking for a YouTube video idea. I type in ChatGPT. This is a completely free tool. Okay, people think that you have to subscribe here. Okay, and I get a lot of angry comments saying, this isn't free. Why did you say it was free? It's free because if you just scroll down, you get the keywords. Okay, look, they're all free. Like, how do people not understand that? Anyway, completely irrelevant. But basically, what you want to do is try and find free alternatives to paid tools. Another thing that works really, really well for me is exactly that. So Ahrefs is an incredibly famous SEO tool. I think it's like $89 or something a month, which if you're just starting a website and you're not from a country where the dollar, you know, is like your currency is weaker than the dollar, this could be a week's pay, 2 weeks pay, 3 weeks pay for you. Okay. So what do? I make a video about free ways to do everything that Ahrefs does for you without paying. Okay, I do actually have a video like that. It did very, very well. It had free in the title, it had free in the thumbnail, and I think it got something like 21,000 views. So that's pretty much it. That's my 7-step system for thinking of thumbnails and creating thumbnails, also titles as well. It's not just thumbnails. And yeah, I really, really hope this helps. I'm giving away all my secrets for free on this channel, so you can give me a subscribe as a way to say thank you. Peace out.